the Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, major upset in Zamfara as PDP candidate unseats Governor Bello Matawalle. APC in Kano asks INEC to review election results declaration, calls for calm. Central Bank of Nigeria increases interest rate to 18%. And on the foreign scene, Ethiopia rejects U.S. war crime allegations as inflammatory. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. The news in detail. Governor of Zamfara State, Bello Matawalle, has lost his re-election bid after the Independent National Electoral Commission declared the People's Democratic Party candidate, Dauda Lawal Dare, as winner of the governorship election with a total of 377,726 votes. Governor Matawalle of the All Progressives Congress scored 311,976 votes. INEC returning officer Professor Kasim Shehu of the Federal University, Birnin Kebbi State, made the declaration in Gusau.
I, Professor Kasim Shehu, hereby certify that I am the returning officer for the 2023 Zamfara State governorship election, held on the 18th day of March 2023. The election was contested. The candidate received the following votes. Lawal Dauda, male of political party PDP, scored 377,726. 377,726. Lawal Dauda of political party PDP, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Thank you.
The biggest upset from the 2023 elections occurred in Zamfara State, where the candidate of the opposition PDP, Dauda Lawal Dare, defeated the incumbent governor, Bello Matawalle of the APC. The outcome of the governorship election has changed the dynamics of state's politics, rendering incumbency factors in electoral victory impotent. In this report, Shafi'u Suleiman chronicles Lawal Dare's long journey to victory.
The Supreme Court on Friday, May 24, 2019, held that APC did not conduct valid primaries in Zamfara State in the build-up to the election, paving the way for the then PDP governorship candidate Bello Matawalle to be sworn in as governor of Zamfara State on May 29th. The judgment also affected the state assembly election won by the APC. However, 2 years into his tenure, Governor Matawalle defected to the APC on June 11, 2021, leaving his deputy Mahdi Gusau, who refused to defect, with him. Gusau was later impeached by the State House of Assembly and was replaced by Senator Hassan Nasiha.
I want to assure you that we will not relent in our commitment and the determination to achieve lasting peace and promote the well-being of our people. We are determined to ensure peaceful conduct of the election and the free political activities, inshallah. On this note, I would like to use this medium to call on the good people of Zamfara State to continue to pray for peace and prosperity in the state.
Dauda Lawal Dare's long journey to victory started with his emergence as PDP governorship candidate in the state in September last year. This was after a federal high court has nullified the previous primary that produced him as the candidate. The Supreme Court on March 6, however, affirmed Lawal Dare as PDP candidate in Zamfara State. Shehu Gusau and two others had challenged the outcome of the second primary and succeeded. Lawal Dare and his wife were attacked by suspected political thugs on the eve of the presidential election in February.
As a result, two of my security escorts, a police sergeant and inspector, sustained various gunshots. In addition to those police, 5 other innocent civilians also sustained gunshot injuries.
All of these belong to the history books now, as Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) on Tuesday declared Dauda Lawal Dare as winner of the governorship election in Zamfara State, giving the state a reputation of bringing surprises in electoral matters. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Still in Zamfara State, the state government has imposed a statewide curfew from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. in order to restore law and order in the state. A statement by the Commissioner for Information, Ibrahim Dosara, said the state government noticed with dismay the wanton destruction and vandalization of government's property and assets, while several innocent citizens are being inflicted with various degrees of injuries in the name of celebrating Monday's declaration of governorship election results. It said reports available to the government indicates that lives were lost, houses and personal effects destroyed, and shops burgled. To guard against these acts, the state government said it was constrained to impose a statewide curfew from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. until peace is restored. The state government therefore directed security agencies to ensure full compliance. The People's Democratic Party's governorship candidate, Lieutenant Colonel Agbu Kaifas, retired, has been declared the winner of Taraba State governorship election. Declaring results of the governorship election at 12:05 a.m. Tuesday in Jalingo, the state's returning officer, Professor Ahmed Mohammed Abdulaziz, said Agbu Kaifas scored 257,926 votes to emerge winner of the election. The New Nigeria People's Party governorship candidate, Professor Sani Yahaya, came second with a total number of 202,277 votes, while the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate, Senator Emmanuel Bocha, scored 142,562 votes to come third. The PDP governorship candidate won in 11 local government areas out of 16 local governments of the state.
I, Professor M.A. Abdulaziz, the Vice Chancellor of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, hereby certify that I am the returning officer for the 2023 Taraba State governorship election held on the 18th day of March 2023. The election was contested. The candidate received the following votes: Hamman Mohammed Mbali, A party, 234 votes, 234. Gambo Abubakar Sadiq, AA, 1046, 1046. Joel David Charima, AAC, 222 votes. Mohammed A. Ibrahim, ADC, 781 votes. Mohammed Hamman Abakar, ADP, 995 votes.
INEC has declared candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Obasani, winner of the governorship election in Kaduna State. The returning officer for Kaduna State and Vice Chancellor of the Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, Professor Lawal Suleiman Bilbis, said Sani polled a total of 730,002 votes, and the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Isa Ashiru, followed with 719,196 votes. The Labour Party candidate, Jonathan Asake, came a distant third after polling 58,283 votes, while the New Nigeria People's Party candidate, Suleiman Hunkoyi, scored 21,405 votes. The report.
The collation of the results from the 23 local government areas of Kaduna State went for 2 days after the election on Saturday.
Have you completed from EC 40G1? Yes. The ending from EC 40H? No. EC 115. 115. APP 240.
The state returning officer, Professor Lawal Suleiman Bilbis, declared the winner.
Jibril Yusuf of ADP 4141, Sani Uba of APC 730002, Bia Andrew Abui of Afghan 1471, Sake Jonathan of LP 58283, Osman Hudi Suleiman of NNPP 21405, Mohammed Ashur Isa of PDP 719196, that Sani Uba of APC, having satisfied the requirement of law, is hereby declared as the winner. Thank you.
The agent of the PDP, Danjuma Sarki, declined to sign the final results.
Totally reject this result because it's not a true reflection of the mandate of the people of Kaduna State as expressed in the various polling units across the state on the 18th of March 2003. Just like you can see, after the declaration of the result, this place became like a graveyard. People are not celebrating. It's very unusual for you to declare a result of governorship election in Kaduna State and people are not jubilating. So I think we are going to, our lawyers are going to sit down and look at the issues, and from there we'll approach the appropriate court in order to seek it.
Yeah, our candidate and our party Obasani have fulfilled all the requirements of the law to be returned elected. We have gotten more than 35% in all the 23 local government of Kaduna State. This shows the popularity of our candidate. This shows the acceptance of our party. This shows the acceptance of our APC government in Kaduna State. So we are very happy, we are satisfied, and we thank INEC for conducting free, fair and credible elections.
Prior to the final declaration of the result, PDP chairman Felix Hayat addressed a press conference where he faulted the collation process, alleging that their candidate won the election. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The All Progressives Congress in Kano State has rejected the governorship election outcome, which produced NNPP candidate Abba Kabir as winner. Addressing a news conference in Kano, legal advisor and chieftains of the party gave the Independent National Electoral Commission a 7-day ultimatum to review the declaration of the election results, insisting that the margin of victory is insufficient in view of the numbers of registered voters in areas where election was cancelled. They accused the state resident electoral commissioner and the returning officer of not working in accordance with the Electoral Act and INEC guidelines.
Whenever the disenfranchised voters who have collected their permanent voters card, that is PVC, outweigh the margin of win between the candidate with the highest number of valid votes cast and his runner-up, the Commission will declare the said election as inconclusive. We therefore condemn in strong terms and vehemently reject the wrongful declaration and return of Abba Kabir Yusuf as the winner of the election by the returning officer.
So I may be forced to ask, and you also join me to ask INEC, why was it that in the case of the federal constituency decision that they counted on polling units cancelled as a result of violence and emergencies? It counted, it worked in that direction. But when we now came to judge on our gubernatorial calculations and gubernatorial declaration, the INEC now came up with what they said is contained in the manual, that cancellations based or arising from emergencies and violences can no longer be counted as reason to define the lead of margin.
The Kano state government has lifted the dawn till dusk curfew it imposed in the state on Monday morning. The curfew was imposed minutes before the declaration of Abba Kabir Yusuf of the NNPP as winner of the governorship election in the state. The state government had said the dawn curfew was to avoid a breakdown of law and order following tensions from the announcement of the results of the governorship and state assembly elections. However, despite the curfew, thousands of supporters of the NNPP trooped to the streets to celebrate their party's victory. There were also pockets of violent clashes between supporters of the NNPP and those of the ruling All Progressives Congress at different locations of the state. The State Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs, Malam Muhammad Garba, while announcing the lifting of the curfew in a statement issued Monday night, said the decision to lift the curfew was after a careful review of the situation and the relative calm throughout the state. The new Nigeria People's Party governorship candidate in Taraba State, Muhammad Yahaya, has rejected the Taraba governorship election results declared by INEC. This is even as the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate, Senator Emmanuel Bocha, has congratulated Agbu Kefas of PDP, who was declared winner of the election by INEC. Sani Yahaya, while reacting to the governorship election results declared by INEC during a press conference in Jalingo, said the results was not what was actually recorded on the field. He said he won the election, but the results was manipulated, adding that people of the state know that it was the NNPP that actually won the election, but the party was robbed of its victory. The NNPP candidate disclosed that he will challenge the results declared by INEC in court, pointing out that legal process to reclaim his victory has started. The governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Bauchi State, Baba Sadiq Abubakar, says the process that produced the PDP candidate as winner was characterized by electoral irregularities. Abubakar, who stated this while reacting to the outcome of the poll at a press conference, said the election was far from free and fair. The APC candidate, who specifically said the process was marred by destruction of electoral materials, attacks on its party agents, alleged overvoting, among others, also said his party will come out with its next line of action in the days ahead and charged his supporters to remain calm.
Apart from the intimidation and harassment of APC members in collection centers and polling units, we also saw the use of primitive violence in at least 7 local government areas. Warji local government area, there was violence and destruction of electoral material. The video is out there for everybody to see. APC supporters were harassed and intimidated and attacked. That prevented so many of our members from coming to cast their votes. Therefore, what came out of Warji was not a reflection of what the people of Warji wanted. Honestly, there's absolutely no credibility in what transpired on Saturday in Bauchi State. I can tell you that, because we have been monitoring every incident.
The Plateau State governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Nentawi Yelwadda, has rejected the outcome of the just concluded governorship election in the state. The APC candidate lost to Caleb Mutfwang of the PDP, who scored the highest votes cast in the Saturday governorship election. Yelwadda disclosed this on Monday evening while addressing party supporters in Jos soon after the declaration of the winner of the exercise, alleging that PDP had rigged the election in some areas which he believes can be rejected by the court. The APC candidate, however, called on his supporters to remain calm as he seeks legal redress.
We're sincere in our hearts, we're sincere in our voting. We're sincere in reporting our votes. We didn't reach anywhere.
Yes.
In 2 local government, it gave a difference of over 100,000.
Yes.
And we knew it was rigged.
Yes.
We reported low voter turnout, and yet the vote increased by over 30%. So how can low voter turnout turn out to be high voter turnout? We challenge it. We have givers, records. What happened to the water? Or the other house, the same happened at public elections. We collect our mandate, we implement the access agenda. Nobody, I mean, I'm comfortable. I'm strong. All I need one word from you. Be strong for me. Stand by me.
We are with you.
Amen. This is the beginning of the war. We can't lose the battle and the war at the same time. Maybe we lost the battle, but not the war. Sure, the war will win it.
Wow.
Is that okay? Yes. So just be strong. No insult, no fight with social media, no insult body, be civil. Is that okay? Yes. No insult, no fighting. If they insult you, turn love back to them. Because we conquer or love conquers all, I will conquer it all once more. So don't get discouraged. Stand by our mandate, and we stand by our mandate. Is that okay? So, no fear.
On this Monday, to stand. On this Monday.
Still talking politics, the Labour Party and its candidate Peter Obi have filed a petition at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja, challenging the declaration of Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress as the winner of the February 25th election. The Independent National Electoral Commission, Bola Tinubu, his running mate Senator Kashim Shettima, and the APC are joined as the first, second, third and fourth respondents. Labour Party and Obi are asking the tribunal to declare that the APC candidate was not duly elected by a majority of the lawful votes cast at the election, praying the tribunal to grant an order mandating INEC to withdraw the certificate of return issued to the APC candidates. The petitioners also allege that at the time of the election, Tinubu was not qualified to contest. Obi prayed the tribunal to make an order compelling INEC to conduct a fresh election in which Tinubu, Shettima, and the APC will not participate. President-elect Bola Tinubu says incidents of the violence reported during the 2023 general election in Nigeria is condemnable, calling for healing and reconciliation in the country. In the statement released on Tuesday, Tinubu urged Nigerians to rise above their differences and work together for the betterment of the country. The former Lagos State Governor expressed sadness by the reported isolated violence during the elections and its aftermath in some states. Tinubu also said reports of arson after the announcement of governorship results in one state did not represent peace-loving Nigerian people. He said the physical and verbal assaults committed are unacceptable and anti-ethical to democratic ethos. The president-elect said elections should be a celebration of a maturing democracy and freedom of choice and ought not to be moments of grief. Tinubu then appealed to Nigerians to rise above differences and value strings that bind them together as people. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, we take a look at the imperative of tree planting. Do stay.
documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Here's a recap of our major stories. We told you that major upset in Zamfara as PDP candidate on seats Governor Bello Matawalle. We also heard that APC in Kano asks INEC to review election results declaration, calls for calm. Moving on, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has commended the Independent National Electoral Commission and security agencies for their efforts in the conduct of the 2023 general elections. He appreciated them for ensuring the worst predictions of crisis and conflict did not come to pass. Gbajabiamila, who stated this at the resumption of plenary after its recess for the general elections, noted that any objective assessment of the elections will show marked improvements from prior outings. The report.
At the resumed plenary, it was a mixed bag of feelings for members of the House of Representatives, as some clinched their tickets to return, while for some, it was goodbye to the Green Chambers. The Speaker, while welcoming the lawmakers, said amendments to the nation's electoral laws by the legislature, pronouncements by the judiciary, and operational reforms by the Electoral Commission have significantly improved elections in Nigeria since 1999.
This is not to suggest perfection, but to acknowledge evident progress in our collective efforts to ensure elections we can all be proud of. Amendments to our nation's electoral laws by the legislature, pronouncements by the judiciary, and operational reforms by the Electoral Commission have significantly improved elections in Nigeria since 1999. The amendments to the Electoral Act by the 9th National Assembly have been particularly instrumental in improving the elections process through the use of technology tools to facilitate voter accreditation and transmission of results. With each new election season, we become more aware of areas requiring changes to ensure a better outing next time.
He also stated that the need for the Electoral Offences Act to be effectively enforced against individuals and organizations whose violations of the electoral laws undermine the Constitution and threaten the nation's democracy.
The Electoral Offences Act is one area where we must take action before the culmination of the 9th House of Representatives. The Act is necessary to ensure effective enforcement against individuals and organizations whose violations of our electoral laws undermine our Constitution and threaten our democracy. A system of vigorous prosecution and punishment of electoral offenders will serve as a deterrent to others in the future and help build confidence in our elections.
In a related development, the House has also urged the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau to investigate the causes of the various train incidences, as well as the federal government through the Nigerian Railway Corporation to provide measures to curb the unfortunate occurrences. This came under a matter of urgent public importance following the incessant loss of lives and destruction of properties in train mishaps by Unyime Dem, representing Ukramfom Orok Anam Federal Constituency in Akwa Ibom State.
Further notes that a Warri Itakwe train derailed in Kogi Forest, leaving not less than 300 passengers stranded. Barely a month after, about 20 passengers were abducted from a train station in Igweben, Edo State.
The House, however, observed a minute's silence in honor of casualties of the various train mishaps.
The Senate Chief Whip, Uzo Kalu, has declared his intention to contest for Senate presidency in the 10th National Assembly. Kalu, who has won re-election to represent Abia North in the Red Chamber, disclosed this Tuesday while briefing newsmen at the National Assembly. The ruling APC maintained majority in the Senate, having secured 57 seats. Aside Kalu, APC senators who won re-election, among them Godswill Akpabio, Sani Musa, Barrow Jibrin, and David Umahi, are said to also be interested in the coveted office.
The question is whether will I run? Yes, I'm ready to run for Senate President if the party zone it to my zone, because the party is supreme. whether they want to zone it, they should zone it to my village, so nobody will contest it against me. I don't even want them to zone it to the south. The party should zone it to Igbere in my ward. So, because I'm the only senator from there, you can manufacture another senator from another local government or from another place in Abia. So, I would like the party to zone it to me with my name. If they can do that, it will be very good, because President Tinubu needs people of high character to turn around this economy, to make sure that we work for the masses and make laws that will enable him to turn around the economy. But they can be honest with you. If we practice true democracy, I should not be in contest with anybody in this position. Because apart from the Senate President himself, Deputy Senate President Mogege, the Senate leader Gobe, I'm the highest ranking member of the Senate. The Nigerian people will pray for me to be Senate President, because it is my turn.
The Senate says it has constituted a committee to probe why President Muhammadu Buhari did not assent to 19 out of the 35 constitution review bills transmitted to him by the National Assembly. Senate President Ahmed Lawan disclosed this in his remarks during resumption of plenary after the governorship and state houses of assembly election break. Lawan commended President Buhari for assenting to 16 constitution amendment bills, particularly the bills to guarantee the independence of state legislatures and judiciary. He, however, said the upper chamber will engage with the presidency to understand why the remaining 19 bills were not assented to. President Buhari had last week signed into law 16 constitution amendment bills out of the 35 bills transmitted to him by the 9th National Assembly.
For the 19 bills that Mr. President did not sign, did not assent to, I believe that there is need for us to do further engagement between the National Assembly and the executive arm of government. We will constitute, I think we already have our Constitution Review Committee to engage the executive arm of government. I don't know whether it will be the Office of the Attorney General or the executive, maybe constitute a small committee. Let's go through the items, those bills that have not been assented to. What are the issues? Are those issues that we can deal with immediately? Because we are putting a lot of resources, a lot of time to produce those bills. And I believe that maybe there are a few explanations that could be made, and then they will be okay. And we will do that almost immediately, because time is of essence. We shouldn't think that the time is too tight. I think even if it is one day that we have left, we should do our best. Where the issues are too much to handle, I think the next assembly, the 10th National Assembly, should be able to attend to such issues.
The Senate President Ahmed Lawan there. Now moving on to more stories. President Muhammadu Buhari says his administration has in the last 8 years contained terrorism, armed banditry, kidnapping, separatist tendencies, crude oil theft, piracy, as well as militancy in the South and cybersecurity. The president, however, stressed that these achievements were due to the valiant efforts of the armed forces, other security agencies collaborating with regional and international partners, and supported above all by Nigerian citizens. He spoke on Tuesday when he commissioned the new National Counter-Terrorism Center and the Office of the National Security Advisor in Abuja. Apart from neutralizing terrorism in the northeast, the president said government had reduced armed banditry and kidnapping cases in the northwest and north central zones, while it had achieved significant milestones in restoring normalcy to most of the hitherto securitized areas in the northeast. National Security Advisor Major General Babagana Munguno said that the last 3 decades had witnessed a vast change in the security landscape in the country and across the world. It had therefore become necessary to broaden the mandate of the Office of the National Security Advisor to accommodate emerging security threats.
This commissioning is coming as we are gradually winding down this administration. It will therefore serve as a major legacy to provide the incoming administration with the state-of-the-art infrastructure to effectively coordinate our national security and counter-terrorism efforts.
One of the key reasons for the establishment of the new center is the series of amendments incorporated in the Terrorism Prevention Act in the year 2011, 2013, and 2022, which broadened the counterterrorism responsibilities of the Office of the National Security Advisor. Furthermore, the creation of the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons, which will soon be moving to its permanent location, as well as the proposed National Cybersecurity Coordination Center, are other major areas of expansion. In addition, there were some key departments that were hitherto not co-located within the premises of the former office of the National Security Advisor that are now in the new office.
A federal high court in Abuja has reserved ruling on a bail application by self-acclaimed terrorist negotiator Tukur Mamu, who was arraigned before the court by the federal government through the Department of State Security. Mamu is facing 10 counts charges bordering on collection of ransom from the victims of the Kaduna-bound ill-fated train abduction in both foreign and local currencies. Trust TV Zainab Araye reports.
At the resumed hearing, counsel for the accused Mohammed Indanusa's son argued his motion for bail, which he told the court to enable his client travel out of the country for a medical surgery. But prosecution counsel A.M. Dalami vehemently opposed the application on the grounds that such ailments can be treated locally. The accused Tukur Mamu was said to have collected ransom at different instances from victims of the Kaduna-bound train abduction, ranging from $420,000 to 21 million naira, which was allegedly found at his residence in Kaduna. Trial Judge Justice Inyang Eko has reserved ruling on the bail application on a date to be communicated to parties, just as he remanded the accused to DSS custody pending the next hearing. Zainab Garaye, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Police in Lagos State have paraded 19 suspects on Tuesday accused of committing various electoral offences in the state. The suspects were paraded at the State Criminal Investigation Department, Yaba. The report.
The Lagos State Police Command said 11 of the suspects are accused of committing electoral offences, while 8 committed other offences during the just concluded 2023 general elections in the state. Police at Panti Criminal Investigation Department at Yawa said items recovered from the suspects were election ballot papers, PVCs, INEC boxes, reflective jackets, charms, cutlasses, among others. Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hundeyin, who represented the Commissioner of Police, said that during the presidential election, 28 cases were recorded, 23 suspects were arrested, 5 of the suspects have been transferred to Abuja for prosecution, while 1 suspect will be prosecuted by the police here in Lagos. The police said during the governorship election, 24 incidents were recorded, 19 suspects arrested, 3 of them have been handed over to INEC in Abuja and 2 under police prosecution in Lagos.
The suspect was arrested with animal horn, which he used to attack somebody. The suspects are right there behind us, for you to see. We also have someone in Badagry, somebody engaged in conduct also likely to cause breach of peace and was found in possession of electoral materials. The suspect was also found with 19 pieces of INEC forms and also 16 pieces of electoral papers. The exhibits are here for us to inspect. Also in the Ashoki area of Lagos, we also arrested somebody who was arrested threatening INEC officials and voters, and the suspect is also here for you to see.
Hundeyin further stated that among those paraded were suspects involved in conspiracy, kidnapping, traffic robbery, and other related offences.
We have a case of conspiracy and kidnapping. These are cases that we have concluded, that we have arrested suspects, and they are going to be arraigned any moment from now. We have a case of kidnapping. these people, 3 of them, they specialize in kidnapping, transporting them to their hideouts, and collecting ransom, the typical kidnap case, before releasing their suspects. But we're able to arrest one of them, and through painstaking investigation, we arrested others, and we have all the suspects in custody. Since they started their criminal activity sometime last year, October 2022, they've been able to rake in a total of 20,700,000. But thankfully, Lagosians are now free from these people, and will continue to work tirelessly to arrest others doing similar things.
Lagos State Police Commissioner Idowu Owohunwa has mandated officers to ensure that no violation of law is allowed to go free in the state, urging all residents to report any criminal activity to the police.
Moving on to health, stakeholders in the maternal health sector say they're committed to providing improved services in order to boost maternal, newborn, and child health. They stated this at a summit organized by the Center for Infectious Disease Research and the Africa Center for Intelligence for Population Health and Policy, Bayero University in Abuja, I beg your pardon. Maria Umar tells us more.
Nigeria, according to the WHO, has the highest estimated number of maternal deaths, accounting for 1/4 of all estimated global maternity deaths, that is about 82,000. To address these and other issues, the Center for Infectious Disease Research says the summit provides a platform to brainstorm with stakeholders in the public and private sector on ways to improve maternal, newborn, and child health in Nigeria.
Each of them will play as their contributions towards improving MNCH situations in Nigeria. And the final objective is to come up with resolution or realistic intervention that will lead to a better MNCH situation in Nigeria.
The president of the Nigerian Medical Association says the rate of maternal deaths in Nigeria is quite embarrassing. Hence, relevant stakeholders must be involved in tackling the menace.
From the perspective of the Nigerian doctors, we want to say that the maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, under 5 mortality rates that we have are embarrassing. Sincerely, ranking us with Somalia and some of those countries is difficult to accept, sincerely. And the perspective we want to point out to this summit is to also look at, apart from combating the diseases, in recent times, if you check, conflict has become a major source of maternal mortality.
The Minister of Health here represented says, though there has been some progress in the sector, more needed to be done to further explore ways of addressing noticeable lapses.
I'm glad to inform you that some states have already keyed in and have now established departments of family health in their ministries. Furthermore, several child survival interventions have been designed to train frontline health workers at the point of service across healthcare levels.
The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Nasir Sani Gwarzo, expressed the need for collective efforts to achieve desired goals.
This is the time for this conference to come up with a resolution on how the humanitarian ministry must put in place a preemptive action plan that will cater for refugees, IDPs, people on the move, people affected by sudden disasters like flood, women delivering on trees. Who will guide this process?
Stakeholders say the summit is timely as it will recommend solutions for critical areas in the health sector for the incoming administration. Maria Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Thank you, Maria, for that report. Now moving on, Tuesday, 21st of April, is International Day of Forests, set aside by the United Nations to highlight the significance and importance of forests to man with the theme Forest and Health. Noel Sampson reports that more than 1.6 billion people across the globe are directly dependent on forests for food, medicine, shelter, and energy, among others. The report.
Every 21st of March,
The United Nations marks the International Day of Forest to commemorate the green cover around and reiterate its importance in the world. The day serves as a reminder of the vital role that forests play in our daily lives, as these are homes to all forms of wildlife and provide sustenance to communities around the world. Climate change advocates in Nigeria have joined the rest of the world to celebrate the day by engaging on tree planting outreach campaigns across secondary schools in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
We thought it's important for us to, as an organization, to not just help journalists, to report issues around forests, deforestation and the likes, but to also walk the talk. And that's why we are doing this for the third year in a row, to help plant trees, educate young people, especially secondary school students, to learn about the importance of forests, the need to be intentional about protecting the environment, and also to let them know why the reason why we have unusual weather pattern will be because of climate change. And if we really want to reverse things back to default, or to get things to be sustainable, to get the environment to be sustainable, then we need to be intentional. And planting trees is one of the many ways that we can play our part, and that's what we are doing here today.
So celebrating the International Day of Forests is very important, it's very critical, especially forests plays a major part in addressing climate change issue.
The climate change advocates called on younger generations to be part of this noble cause to ensure a safe and conducive environment for all, as healthy forests will bring healthy people. Some of these schools appreciated the gestures where they reiterated the importance of protecting forests from destruction.
Planting trees, having trees around us creates a lot of healthy environment around us too. So the students that have been giving this information this morning, I'm sure they will tell other students that are not here. And not only that, they will inform their parents at home, they will inform their siblings and the advantage of planting trees.
I plan to put this in practice when I have the opportunities to. If anything, I will try and plant more trees around my houses or any other place I notice that trees are lacking in that place. Plus, I will try to encourage people about the importance of this.
Planting a plant is good for the environment, also for climate change.
It is important to know forest sustainable management and use of resources are key to combating climate change and can contribute to prosperity and well-being of current and future generations. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're still watching News on Trust TV. More stories after the break. Are you a creative, a videographer, producer, or content creator? Trust TV is calling for entries for a short documentary and skit competition. To qualify for this entry, send your short documentary or skit of not more than 5 minutes on health or any social-related issues to creatives@trusttv.com. Using this format, title, duration, first name, phone number, and a summary of the production of not more than 1 paragraph. Winners will be engaged for production for Trust TV, and prizes will be won by the overall winner and the first and second runner-up. Opens from 19th March 2023 to 31st March 2023. Welcome back. Now in business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has hiked interest rates by 50 basis points. The bank disclosed this at a press briefing where it unveiled decisions arrived at its latest Monetary Policy Committee meeting. The report.
While putting into consideration some economic challenges such as bank failures in the United States and Switzerland, NPR hikes in other countries, global and national inflation, as well as volatility in the oil market, the Monetary Policy Committee decided to hike the benchmark interest rate, though minimally, for the 6th consecutive time, taking it from 17.5% to 18%.
MPC noted that while the continued rise in headline inflation remained a significant problem confronting the economy, other macroeconomic variables were moving in the right direction despite observed headwinds. The committee's debate at this meeting therefore was whether to continue its rate hike to further dampen the rising inflation trajectory, or hold to observe emerging development and allow for impact of the last 5 rate hikes to permeate the economy. Loosening in the view of the members would gravely undermine the gains so far achieved. Members thus resolved by a majority vote to raise the monetary policy rate MPR by 50 basis points.
The central bank governor Godwin Emefiele addressed pressing issues of the naira scarcity, which has continued despite approval from both the Supreme Court and the CBN to allow the old 1,500 and 200 naira notes to coexist alongside the new ones until December 31st, 2023.
Before the naira design, we said there was about 3.23 trillion naira in circulation, out of which only 500 billion naira was being held in the banking system, and 2.72 trillion was being held outside the banking system. And with the naira redesign, and it was published even in the newspaper yesterday, currency in circulation is roughly close to 1 trillion naira. And CBN continues to pump the newly designed currency into the market. But the truth is, at some point, we will need to reassess again.
Emefiele also spoke on steps being taken to address failures in e-transactions.
I must apologize, yes, online channels failed, but no doubt it was a result of the deluge of volume of online transactions that hit the banking industry. And I think it's currently being resolved, and we are following up on daily basis. Our payment system management department follows up on a consistent and daily basis with the bank to ensure that where there are downtime, they are resolved as quickly as possible.
The Apex Bank governor further stated that the e-Naira now has 13 million wallets, which have carried out 22 billion naira worth of transactions. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafo for more business news.
The value of electronic utility payments fell by 44.86% in February, despite the Central Bank of Nigeria's Naira redesign policy aimed at growing cashless transactions. In February, the value of utility bills payments fell to 90.93 billion naira from 164.89 billion naira in January, according to data from the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System. This significantly two-year low for e-bills payment. Since hitting 78.38 billion naira in February 2020, e-bills payment has consistently stayed above 100 billion naira, rising to 161.87 billion naira in February of 2021 and 218.80 billion naira in February of 2022. And finally, in stocks, the Nigerian equity market on Tuesday bounced back after sessions of losses as the all-share index marginally grew by 0.03% to settle at 54,904.68 points. Investors gained 9 billion naira as the market capitalization was up by 0.03% to close at 29.910 trillion naira. 12 equities appreciated in the share price against 12 that declined. An aggregate of 127.7 million units of shares was traded in 2,987 deals valued at 1.586 billion naira. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
Away from Nigeria, the Ethiopian government has accused the United States of taking a partisan approach by alleging that its forces and Eritrean troops had committed war crimes during the two-year conflict in Tigray. The Foreign Ministry said in a statement on Tuesday that the U.S. statement is inflammatory. This comes a day after Washington accused all parties to the conflict of committing war crimes, but singled out Ethiopian, Eritrean, and regional Amharan forces for crimes against humanity without mentioning forces loyal to the Tigray People's Liberation Front. Last week, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken made his first visit to Ethiopia since a November 2022 peace deal between the federal government and Tigrayan rebels. On Monday, after returning to Washington, he made a forceful call for accountability. Hundreds of thousands of people were killed in the conflict, with some estimates placing the death toll as high as 600,000. And finally, let's join Adeni Ajishafe for sports news.
Three goals from striker Mustafa Eneji, Nuhu Daniel, and a sport key by enterprising left footer Salisu Tanko was all Kogi United FC needed to overcome Kogi United feeders to be crowned champions of Kogi State Federation's Cup. The Nigerian National League campaigner left no stone unturned in their quest to ensure they retain the trophy they won in 2022 against the B team, who showed desire and resolve to cause an upset. Nuhu Daniel made a three with a brilliant finishing with Mustafa Ahmed, completing his hat-trick to put the game beyond the junior team, as the Kogi feeder put one back to reduce the tally. Kogi United FC will hit the ground running in 2022-2023 Nigerian National League season on Wednesday. And in boxing, WBA Boxing has issued April 1st as deadlines to sign off on the unification battle between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Although 29 April has been muted for a meeting at Wembley Stadium, no concrete agreement has been confirmed despite having less than 6 weeks away from the date. Usyk's manager and longtime advisor, Egis Klimas, had thrown the date into doubt due to issues of agreeing time with the Gypsy King. Clemens said if a deal with Fury will not stand, then Usyk will pivot to a mandatory defense route against British boxer Daniel Dubois. WBA President Gilberto Mendoza confirmed 1st April as deadline for the fight to be agreed, with paperwork signed by both parties. There has been an element of dispute about how the purse is split, with Fury calling for a 70% take because of his ability to draw in punters and backing from UK promoters, while Usyk's camp wants a fair split as bringing WBO, WBA, IBF and IBO belts to the table. A fight between Usyk and Fury will be an opportunity for boxing world first undisputed heavyweight champion since Lennox Lewis in 2000. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.